Tonight's meeting, is there a second?
Second.
All right, as
Motion's been made and roll call is in order. Mr. Darcy?
Aye.
Mr. Kilcoyne?
Aye.
Ms. Fidler?
Aye.
Unanimous vote to open the meeting for business.
All right, and as a reminder, this meeting is being recorded by Marshfield Community Media. So, Michael, would you mind giving us an update for the town administrator's report?
I will do that. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Had a meeting with Craig Alvey and Robin Blunt with Danielle, our HR director, to look at some opportunities for software application for HR. Had a meeting with Liam Sims, Big Orange Water, regarding rental space at Wrexham Beach for surfing, paddleboard, etc. Had a meeting with Chief Simpson on budgetary items and overtime. A meeting with Gil Kent, Chief Tavares, and Harbor Master DeMayo regarding access to bathrooms in the winter and porta toilets. Meeting with Building Commissioner regarding floodplain issues on Ocean Street. Meeting at the DPW for the bi-weekly owner, architect, and contractor meeting on their project. Steel has arrived and they're assembling parts C and D of their building. Lunch meeting with Deputy LaSalva to go over some outstanding fire issues. Meeting with Fred Russell, our facility director, to review ongoing capital projects. The new school purchase, a 255 Furnace building, town hall project in the dog park. Meeting with the Emory Senate to sign off on the tax rate with DLS and DOR. Meeting with Select Person Fiddler to review some ongoing issues. A conference call with Joe Connolly from the Stanton Foundation and Fred Russell to review some of the final requirements of the dog park. At the police owner architect meeting to review ongoing issues regarding resolutions. The carports are missing some drainage, downspouts, and lighting fixtures and some interior issues. And the rug that had to be replaced was done over this past weekend. Conference call with Bill Buttigieg and Matt and Good Energy regarding aggregate electric. Meeting with Fred Russell to review dog park permits required by the town. Meeting with Lisa on the town clerk FY24 budget. Meeting with our contractor Paul Williams to review the sequencing of the town hall projects. Meeting with Greg Guimont and Justine Mooney from Woods Hole and other people to review Marshfield Hazard Mitigation Plan. Civic meeting with Todd Goodwin and Chief Hawking on the safety plan for the vaccine and operation plan. We had a meeting with the Blacksmith Restoration Project with Paul Williams, Fred Russell, and Cindy Castro. We're beginning to prepare the bid and specs to go out to bid for that project. Lunch meeting with Fred Russell, Facility Director, review to winter prep plans for all of our buildings, library project, rug, and roof leaking issues. Meeting with Aaron and Fred to discuss next step with PV installations at the schools. We're moving ahead with that and sign off by the power companies. Weekly budget meeting to review outstanding issues FY24 with Lisa Clark on healthcare, pensions, fuel, and electric. Phone conversation with Danielle regarding some DPW personnel issues. We needed to get Labor Council involved as a follow-up. Phone conversation with Ian and Lisa regarding Munis conversation. An update. They're here today to give an update on where the project is. Meeting with Greg Guimont on potential development issues. Finished AFRA report and letter. Submitted that to Ian to submit for FY22. Worked on press releases with Jenna Gillis on conservation issue and financial reporting recognition. Mike Seal and Sue Karen are recognized by the Mass Association of Conservation Commissioners regarding wetland protection. And the town of Marshfield was recognized for excellence in financial reporting by the Government Finance Officers Association. Mr. Chairman, you want me to do the clinic at this point also?
Yes, that'd be great.
Clinic update, as of today, 3,900 shots have been given. Breakdown, 3,276 COVID vaccines have been administered at the fairgrounds, and 627 flu vaccines have been administered, and we continue to offer that service through the end of December. And then I also have Health Circle. Do you want me to do that?
Yes, please.
Okay. I went by Health Circle. I did meet with Mike at Health Circle and gave us a tour. Andrew, the building commissioner, was with me. There's a couple of pictures I'll pass down. You'll see from the pictures that they're just starting their construction. As you know, a couple of things have played out, and that is the facade. So the building that they're going into to the right of WATD That was a roofing company. The roofing company was building another building. It was almost a year and a half, 2 years by now. There was a bad storm, a windstorm, and the facade blew down. No one got hurt, but it crushed 2 trucks. That was tied up in insurance litigation, and that's what held up Westwood from moving into his facility. He's continuing to, pay his lease on there. They've got their building permits, and they began doing the remodel. In the meantime, they went to the ZBA and they got a 6-month extension, so their goal is to be open by June.
Awesome, thank you, Michael. Do you have any questions or comments, Jim?
Just a quick one, if I may, Administrator. The delay's been fairly little, we've all
Yes, they were actually the first one.
Yes, I know they were. So, do you feel, given your tour and what was stated to you for the reason for the delay, you feel satisfied with that, or do you feel that they're still not moving fast enough?
Well, I feel, I explained to him that he has to really make sure that the building's ready. They've gotten, a lot of, we understand, something beyond his control. He's leasing, he didn't own the building. The owners of the building were building, something happened, the facade fell down, and that, took off a year and a half off of their process. But I said he needs to be full speed ahead. I said, I'm going to come back. I told him at the end of December, I'm going to come back to see how they're moving, and I think we'll do, Mr. Chairman, like I had to do with one of our restaurants in town. I'll have to do monthly visits to make sure that they're moving ahead expeditiously. But like I said, they've got a 6-month extension, so they really need to make hay and get moving on their business, because it's not fair. I mean, they're holding up a license. Even if somebody else new was to come in, they'd have to get a location. There's no that they could just step into that, but so it would be further behind, I think.
Yeah, we definitely understand there have been extenuating circumstances with the delay and things of that nature. But I would like to note that this board and the previous board combined Mr. Westort on at least 3 different occasions, both in writing and in our hearings, has promised to give us monthly updates, and he hasn't. So it's just, not ideal that we had to do the follow-up on our own. So we're definitely going to keep that in mind and hope that they can improve. Do you have any questions or comments, Lauren?
The ZBA, I know, came in front of, he came in front of the ZBA, and there was a permit, site plan, special permit granted, I believe, in November, and he has a 2-year. And I think with COVID that there was a tolling period that was extended beyond that 2-year, but I'm not exactly sure what that was. So perhaps where our inspector and zoning enforcement officer could, if that would be okay, Chair?
Absolutely.
Would you like to weigh in?
The only thing I'd say on the tolling period, so the tolling period only applies to permits that were issued before the start of the pandemic. Any permits that were issued during the state of emergency are treated as normal permits. But so this was after the pandemic started, so the tolling period wouldn't apply to that. But like you said, there was a significant building structural emergency on the other thing that made it so they could not continue.
Thank you very much. All right, so we're going to move on to our first appointment. So Lisa and Ann, thank you for coming in. So if you guys want to just kind of walk us through the bands and bonds, and we're ready to move forward.
We can start with the bands and bonds.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so we went up to bid on the, okay.
Thanks for coming out to the table.
Okay, so we went out to bid for the school purchase and the sewer work throughout the town for the borrowing for $2,040,000. We had 3 bidders. Very happy with the results. Our true interest cost, or our net interest cost, 3.2680, which is very good. And there was only 3 bidders. So, and we got a premium with that to help pay off some of the costs. If you have any other questions, it's just a short-term borrowing that we'll have to pay by July of next year.
Great, thank you. Do you have any questions or comments on the bands and bonds before we move on to the Munis update, Jim?
I do not, Mr. Chairman.
Any questions or comments?
No, thank you.
Awesome. So you want to give us an update on Munis?
So, as you know, this has been a long process. We actually started the munis process in June of 2021, long before Lisa and I were here. We inherited the project. I believe that the original go-live date was supposed to be July 1 of 22, but clearly because of personnel changes, we moved it to October, and then there were some issues. There was a lot going on, so we decided to again move it. And I can say we successfully went live last Thursday, December 1st. We are plowing through it. And it's a new process. SoftWrite was, in an analogy, SoftWrite was a Yugo. This is a Maserati.
Yeah.
So it's great because the features and the way it works is going to make it so much easier and so much more user friendly. It's just getting everybody used to it. But I think it's going to go really well. As far as the revenue is concerned, that start date is
January
January 23.
Revenue, accounts receivable, general billing, and Tyler Cash Aaron. That's the June 1st, and we should be live with that on June 1st, sorry, 2023. And then we have tax that will begin in May 2023, hope to finish by May of 24. Utility billing, March of 23, live March of 24. Intergov, we began, and that's why Andrew's here in case you have any questions. Intergov will affect the public. What just went live now, December 1st, was behind the scenes. It really only affects the accounting and, the departments that put invoices in. But Intergov processes the permitting, which licenses and permitting, and Andrew is kind of heading the whole process because he's kind of an expert at this point. So we started that in November, and we'll be live with that next November 2023.
Awesome, thank you very much. I do have one question, and like Lisa and Andrew or Michael, whoever feels the most comfortable answering it. Would it be fair to say that another positive outcome when we have Munis fully up and running will be that it'll help our residents get a roadmap in terms of navigating their permit and application process for projects that interact with multiple departments?
Absolutely.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah, I'll speak to that real quickly. So that really is the goal, to make it a lot easier for people to understand what permits they need, make it easier to track those permits so they're not missing anything, and make sure that we're closing permits out and not kind of leave them hanging out for years and years to come. So that's kind of the goal, and it's a process now where basically I'm submitting all the permits from every department across town, whether it's building permits, Board of Health, Conservation, DPW, Fire Department, and I've been kind of just dumping all of those forms and permits and applications onto them, and they're transferring them into kind of their way of talking. And so once they've completed that, I'm going to meet with them and go over that, and then we're going to start meeting with individual department heads to kind of, finalize the little kind of minutia of their permitting, and then it should be a lot easier, a lot beneficial to the residents going forward.
Yeah, that's awesome, thank you. That's definitely a very common point of feedback that we get, so it's nice that we have a solution, to address that soon. And the demonstration walkthrough that you gave us for the floodplain permit application, it was nice to see, a clear visual for the roadmap, and it seemed pretty straightforward and a great improvement, so.
It's not going to be the same as the floodplain permit because it's it's a different type of setup.
Yep.
Essentially, what we're doing for the floodplain permit, where you're describing the type of work and where the work is happening, it's going to automatically load a requirement of everything. So in that way, it will work the same as the floodplain permit, but it's going to be just a little bit different, where it's going to be not specific to just the floodplain. You're going to apply for whatever you're going to do, and if you're in a floodplain, it'll bring up that aspect of things. But otherwise, it's going to bring up anything: conservation, Board of Health, zoning, building, whatever it is.
Yeah, that's great. Thank you very much. Do you have any questions or comments, Jim?
No, just a query. So what I heard was, and I realize it's a huge project, I realize it's kind of, well, almost overdue. And I realize that it's a much more sophisticated package that will help, not only on the backside of the operation, which is talking about rolling out first, but the front side, public side. And you're saying that the total up and running date you're looking for now, back end and front end, which is public, is November 2023?
So that is for the intergov for permit.
And is that the
So
last
the-
one?
No,
No.
actually it will be tax. Tax will be starting in May, which would be the, you know, your excise tax, your real estate tax, anything like that having to do with that part of the building and collections. That would begin May of 2023 and go live would be May of 2024. Everything takes about a year. And you have to go by pieces. The first
May-
piece was 2024.
May 2024
Yes,
is the
you should be-
targeted fully
all set.
operational.
That, everything should be up and running by then.
Okay, thank you.
That's the hope.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you. Any questions or comments, Lynn?
Just, I'm curious to the archiving of our system as we see it right now. So perhaps maybe if you just explain that to us and the public, that would be great.
Yes. Well, we're going to keep the software, SoftWrite, for 3 years. So we
Okay.
can keep all that back information, archived. And Zovio as well, which is our cache. So we will hold on to that. And it's our, we pay for it, so it's our information.
It's proprietary?
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
And at some point, I think it'll probably go into some kind of access database so
Yeah.
that we can access it whenever we need to, and we can just be done with software.
Yes. we
So
don't-
will the public, for example, if you pulled a building permit 3 years ago, would you be able to access that building permit from your online system?
In archives, but not.
In archives?
So any active building permits, we had a little bit of trouble switching over
Right,
the
I
last
know.
time.
So I'm curious.
Any active building permits, we're gonna get it set up. It's a little different because last time we had an access-based program, we're going to a web-based program.
Right.
Now we're going web to web, so it's gonna be a little bit easier to transfer information over.
Right.
So we're gonna be working it in a way that basically any information that we have currently set up in our permits is going to be able to transfer right over to like similar or like fields in the new permit system, and it'll essentially become an active permit in the new system, and all that stuff will transfer a lot easier than it did the last time. The last time we had to go kind of back and look for permits to make sure they were still active, or reactivate them, or close them out where they weren't closed out, and there was a lot of extra work, but yeah, it'll be a lot better this time going forward.
That's it, thank you.
Thank you very much. All right, Lynn, so unfortunately, as the clerk, you're going to have a lot of reading to do, and then we'll make a motion to approve what you read.
Okay, sounds good. Everybody stretch. This is the vote of the Select Board. I, the clerk of the Select Board of the Town of Marshfield, Massachusetts, certify that a meeting of the board held December 5th, 2022, of which meeting all members of the board were duly notified, and at which a quorum was present, the following votes were unanimously passed, all of which appear upon the official record of the board in my custody. Voted to approve the sale of a $2,040,000 at 3.5% general obligation bond anticipation note, the note of the town dated December 13th, 2022, and payable July 28th, 2023, to Piper Sandler and Company at par and accrued interest, if any, plus a premium of $2,958,000. I'm sorry, $2,958. Further voted that in connection with the marketing and sale of the notes, the preparation and distribution of a notice of sale and preliminary official statement dated November 22nd, 2022, and a final official statement dated November 30th, 2022, each in such form as may be approved by the town treasurer, be and hereby are ratified, confirmed, approved, and adopted. Further voted that the town treasurer and the select board be and hereby are authorized to execute and deliver significant events disclosure undertakings in compliance with SEC Rule 15C2-12 in such form as may be approved by bond counsel to the town, which undertaking shall be incorporated by reference in the notes for the benefit of the holders of the notes from time to time. Further voted that we authorize and direct the town treasurer to establish post-issuance federal tax compliance procedures and continuing disclosure procedures in such forms as the town treasurer and bond counsel deem sufficient, or if such procedures are currently in place, to review and update said procedures in order to monitor and maintain the tax exempt status of the notes and to comply with relevant securities laws. Further voted that any certificates or documents relating to the notes, collectively, the documents, may be executed in several counterparts, each of which shall be regarded as an original and all of which shall constitute one and the same document. Delivery of an executed counterpart of a signature page to a document by electronic mail in a PDF file or by other electronic transmission shall be as effective as delivery of a manual executed counterpart signature page to such document. And electronic signatures on any of the documents shall be deemed original signatures for the purposes of the document and all matters relating thereto, having the same legal effect as original signatures. Further voted that each member of the Select Board, the Town Clerk, and the Town Treasurer be and hereby are authorized to take any and all such actions and execute and deliver such certificates, receipts, or other documents as may be determined by them or any of them to be necessary or convenient to carry into effect the provisions of the foregoing votes. I further certify that the votes were taken at a meeting open to the public, that no vote was taken by secret ballot, that a notice stating the place, date, time, and agenda for the meeting, which agenda included the adoption of the above votes, was filed with the town clerk, and a copy thereof posted in a manner conspicuously visible to the public at all hours in or on the municipal building that the office of the town clerk is located, or, if applicable, in accordance with an alternative method of notice prescribed or approved by the Attorney General, as set forth in 940 CMR 29.03 2B. At least 48 hours, not including Saturdays, Sundays, and legal holidays, prior to the time of the meeting and remain so posted at the time of the meeting. That no deliberations or decisions in connection with the sale of the notes were taken in executive session, all in accordance with General Law, Chapter 30A, Section 18-25, as amended. Today is dated December 5th, 2022, with a sign of Clerk of the Select Board. Thank you.
Thank you, Lynn. All right, I'll make a motion to approve the bans and bonds as read into the record by the Clerk of the Select Board. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion been made and duly seconded. Roll call is in order. Mr. Darcy?
Aye.
Mr. Kilcoyne?
Aye.
Ms. Fidler?
Aye.
Unanimous vote to approve.
All right, great. Thank you very much. All right, our next appointment is with the Brant Rock Build Association. So, folks wanted to come up and speak at the table just so the microphone can pick things up for the public. All right, so before we get started, I'll just go, thank you very much. No worries at all. Thank you.
There's a lot of them. I think this is two, let's see. Yeah, look, right here, yeah.
All right, great. So before we commence, I just kind of want to go over the format for this public hearing. So what we'll do is we'll have 15 minutes for comments and questions from you folks. And the format's going to be kind of similar to town meeting, where individuals will need to be recognized before they speak, and we'll need you to state your name and address with a number before you speak. We scheduled this hearing because we wanted to hear your concerns, and we reserve the right to ask questions if necessary. And we're going to take all of your feedback under advisement, and what we'll do is we'll give you guys both a written response, and we'll discuss amongst ourselves at a future meeting all the issues that you guys raised at tonight's meeting. So I'll go ahead and make a motion to approve the format of this hearing as I just described. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion been made and duly seconded. Roll call is in order. Mr. Darcy?
Aye.
Mr. Kilcoyne?
Aye.
Ms. Fidler?
Aye.
Unanimous agreement to adopt the procedures.
All right, great. Thank you very much. So whoever wants to speak first between the two of you, just state your name and address and the floor is yours.
Awesome, thanks. Diane Jordan, 15 Bancroft Street in Marshfield, and I'm the president of the Grant Rock Village Association.
Great, thank you very
She's
much.
here for support.
That's very nice of
I'm
you.
the boss, yeah, 75 Central Street in
Yeah.
Grant Rock.
Always helps to have some moral support.
Yeah, it does.
Okay, so we gave you guys these papers just so you have it, because it's kind of a lot. So the Grant Rock Village Association is here to represent the residents who are in opposition to the Harbor Master's walking trail parking lot plan, the ongoing and planned cutting of the Phragmites at the DSA, and the proposed cutting of the Phragmites at Harbor Park. So, thanks for having us, by the way. So town meeting voted no on the Harbor Master's walking trail articles, you know, and we're very concerned over the Harbor Master's apparent disregard for the town meeting vote, as well as the validity of the order of conditions and a few other related issues. So would love to hear from the select board on these concerns, and the residents of Marshfield are waiting to hear, of course, whatever comes from the meeting tonight. So the Harbor Master's statement at town meeting, quote, from the video he said, the permit is done, regardless of the $126,000, we still have the right to go in there. The $126,000 was because you have to pay prevailing wages. You can't just pay someone $10 an hour to do this kind of work. So we have definite issues with what he's calling his permit for that walking trail. The agenda item was listed as parking lot expansion, with no mention of building a parking lot or of the trail or walking path. The residents were not notified appropriately. The agenda was not posted until less than 24 hours ahead of the June 1st, 2021 meeting, and it was never posted on any other media outlet at all. And then the agenda states the proposed activity is the partial repurposing of the dredge spoils area into a pervious parking lot. There was no mention of a trail. So these reasons alone, we feel, make the order of conditions for the walking trail invalid. But we also copied out a few points from the Conservation Commission minutes, and there's much more also on the video. So the minutes in the video of the meeting, the points that we took out state, and I'm just saying, quote, they're not full sentences, an existing trail, so berms are not a trail. And then it was stated that they have a light tree cover, but it's heavily forested. So I don't know if any of you have been up there, but you could look at any of the pictures I've posted on Facebook, tons of them, or just go there, and you would see that. The statement that no trees would be cut, that's impossible because it's heavily forested. The statement to reclaim an old walking path on top of the berm. This area is not on any Marshfield trail maps dating back hundreds of years, I think. It's a berm, it's not a path or a trail. And then statement, no work is proposed in any resource areas. So town maps show wetland flags on the Cherry Street side of the berm and other areas around the berms. The excavation here would cause earth to be displaced into those adjacent wetlands. Quote, some grading is proposed to ensure the lot is level. There was no mention of major earth removal, tree cutting, and buildup of earth, which would be needed to actually make the berms level and wide enough. Earth removal and buildup are prohibited in conservation and wetlands areas, and also would require zoning approval and site plan. Quote, asks which town entity will be managing construction and maintenance. This will be worked out between the Harbor Master Office and DPW. So the DPW has not taken on building or maintaining this trail or parking lot. No one has. At this Conservation Commission meeting, there was no mention of earth excavation, no mention of packing stone dust. There was mention of maybe we'll add some stone dust, no mention of packing it around trees or any of that. No mention of moving trees, and there was a denial of the state delineated conservation and wetlands. So we disagree that the Harbor Master has any permit or order of conditions or notice of intent on this trail project. And we would like to know from the select board, because you voted to approve this at town meeting, so we're wondering if you didn't know any of that, you know, you probably didn't watch that video or maybe read. I'm sure you don't know everything that goes on everywhere. So were you voting yes because you didn't realize the inconsistencies and misrepresentations of the project? And what would be your opinion of it now that you do know some of it? I haven't put up in all of it. So I guess that's a question, I don't know if you want to answer.
Yeah, that's great. Did you have anything else that you wanted to say before we kind of?
Okay, sure,
Yeah.
yeah. Oh, so you do want to just go through it and then?
If that, yeah, if that
Perfect.
works for you.
Yeah, that's fine. So the Patriot Ledger newspaper article titled Marshfield Voters Nix Walking Trail in Brant Rock. The harbor master seems to completely disregard town meeting in this article. This is a serious concern for residents. The author quoted, DeMayo denied any connection between the trail and plans to expand the parking lot. And from the order of conditions, we see that that's simply not true. They're the same project. And then Mr. DeMayo's quote in that article, it's still an approved project, so could we go in there and establish the trail with volunteers? Yeah, we could, and we just might. He said, we'll see what happens, but there are other bigger projects on the horizon. So there were many people also at town meeting who had excellent points against this trail article. You all were there, and you know, I'm sure, how people felt and what they said, and the clear majority against the trail that had nothing to do with the funding. People spoke against the trail, they didn't speak against the funding. So the residents want to know, is the select board in agreement with the residents of Marshfield that this trail can't and shouldn't be built? Or are you in agreement with the harbor master who states funding was the only issue and he can still build the trail with volunteers? They want to know, has the select board authorized the harbor master to be in charge of the DSA, the proposed parking lot, and this proposed trail? And if it's not the select board giving that authorization, who has given the authorization to him? And what is the basis for his involvement in these land issues as the harbor master? And why are these proposed projects not being put forward by the planning board or trail commission or some other more appropriate party? The Trails Committee has voted twice, once last year, once this year, that they do not want to be part of the Marshfield, that they do not want this trail to be part of the Marshfield Trail System. They don't want to be involved in this project. So is the select board in support of the Trails Committee? And then we are really active on social media, so residents know we're having this meeting. People are waiting for a breakdown of the meeting to hear, your stance on the trail. So the question would be, what's your stance on the trail? And then the residents have clearly stated that they do not want the DSA in Harbor Park mowed and cut due to well-stated wildlife noise, wind, water control, visual appearance, etc. We conducted a Facebook poll a few months ago which showed over 150 people, only the ones that answered it, against the cutting, and only 3 were in support of it. So on whose authority does the harbor master mow and cut the DSA against the wishes of the residents? And why is he being allowed to mismanage this vegetation? We've provided ample research to the Conservation Commission in the form of a PowerPoint, and it is also available, all the information is available on our own Marshfield Town website, Conservation Commission page, that the manner that he uses to cut these phragmites actually goes totally opposite against the established protocol of Phragmites control and reestablishment of native species. And at the last mowing, cut Phragmites have been pushed into the wetlands on the Cherry Street side of the berm. So residents want to know, why is the harbor master, who we feel should be in charge of the harbor, why is he being allowed to damage the environment? We feel that that's damaging the environment. And then last year, ahead of the select board election, Ms. Fiddler's comment on WATD Meet the Candidates, she said, and this might not be an exact quote because I didn't listen again, I just heard it, but she said the parking lot was definitely coming back. So we want to know what's your plan and stance on the proposed DSA parking lot. And then, this is not in this writing, but because it came in too late as a question, but there were questions about why was the Marshfield Chamber of Commerce allowed to rent out parking spaces on town-owned land and make a profit on that rental during the Lobster Fest. And also, people have concerns about the wood chips being put onto the gravel parking lot across from Harbor Park, and they didn't think that that was something that it should have been, there should have been a permit or something, for that to happen. And then, so yeah, so we'll be posting the details on your, comments and stuff. And then, just, did you have anything else you want us to mention to residents? But I'm sure you'll say that if you do. So, thank you.
Awesome, yeah, thank you very much for coming in and presenting your concerns. So just want to make sure that we're on the same page. So with respect to the Conservation Commission meeting, it's okay if you don't have the top of your head, but is there a particular meeting date that you would like us to review?
It was June 1st, 2021. I did write that in here. That was when he got the order of conditions for that he says is the permit. I don't really understand how an order of conditions is considered a permit, but that's just beyond my ability to understand, I guess.
Yeah.
That was the meeting that I took most of this information out of. And there were other meetings because there was a meeting for zoning, and there was a lot of the same kind of misrepresentations at that meeting. I didn't review it, but I was there, a couple different meetings on that. And then there was also another meeting too, Trails Committee, a couple of Trails Committee meetings. So really the same statements were made over and over again at these meetings, but I chose to focus on this one because that's when the order of conditions was given. And I think that's what he's referring to as his permit.
Yeah, understood. Yeah, they can certainly be tough to follow sometimes, so obviously,
Yeah.
I don't blame you one bit.
Yeah, so maybe just help me. So when you get the permit, right, from whatever board it is, say Board of Health, whatever, all right, you have your permit, and then how you execute your permit is your orders and conditions. So that's how you would actually go forward with your permit. They tell you what you can and can't do, timelines, things, whatever. So that's separate. Then they can be ongoing order conditions like sort of forever, right? Or they can be just, that is how you do this project, whatever the project would be, right? Septic tank, whatever. And when you've completed that, you get a certificate of compliance saying you completed according to how the permit's order conditions were. So hopefully, does that help you?
Not really, because honestly,
That was
I
my
still don't
best.
understand.
That was my best.
So they're kind of interchangeable, is that what you're saying? Like the order of conditions can be considered a permit?
No, you get
Or-
a permit and then the order conditions tell you how you achieve proper execution of the permit. You get a right, you say you get a permit to put a septic tank in, and you have to put it so many feet away from your neighbor's boundaries, you have to put it above subwater, groundwater. So there's all those conditions on how you install it, right? So those would be your orders of conditions.
Right.
That's a kind of a gross way of doing it, you know what I'm saying? They'd be very different, but that would be the order of conditions.
Okay.
And then when you've done that, they come out, they inspect and say, okay, you made it according to how the permit and the conditions are. Thank you, you get your certificate of compliance.
So there, obviously then, there must be some other form that I'm not finding that is considered a permit, I guess. But that would have
You will
conceivably
get a
happened
permit.
before this June 1st
You get a permit, and
meeting.
within that are your orders and conditions within your permit.
So I guess I'm asking, does he have an actual permit?
So we can take that, Mr. Chairman.
Because we don't see that he has an actual permit.
Yeah, and we can.
And with the order, sorry, just let me, I'll just finish that question, I don't mean to interrupt you, but we don't see that he has an actual permit. And if he did have an actual permit, in the order of conditions that was given at this meeting, was, for that permit, it still is invalid, because it still didn't cover any of the actual details of the project in, reality of what the project would entail,
Yeah, absolutely.
so.
Yeah, and we can definitely get that for you too. I know there's a lot of stuff on the town website, but there's so much there that's not always easy to navigate, and that's another thing that will improve too, like once Munis is fully implemented. Yeah, so would it be fair to summarize it, Jim, that basically your order of conditions is how you faithfully execute the
Yes,
permit?
that's much better than I said, thank you.
Well, you loosened the lid on the jar of pickles and I just opened it.
That is exactly true.
All right, awesome.
Thanks. That is it's a little bit simpler, but still leaves the question in my mind about the permit.
Yeah, we'll look
Totally.
at it.
Right,
Yeah.
and then also that the order of conditions just isn't valid, because it doesn't cover the scope of any of the project
Understood.
details
Yeah.
that have been done.
Yeah.
Okay,
And
it's a legitimate
so-
question. Good question.
Okay, great.
Yeah, and to be fair to Jim, it's always easier to go second, so. So I wanted to ask one question. It's a compound question, if that's okay. So would your position be the same if the mitigation or management efforts, whether it's the native Phragmites or an invasive Phragmites? And then is your issue with the method of management and mitigation, or is?
Okay, as far as cutting and mowing the Phragmites?
Yes.
Yeah, both, because there doesn't seem to be any logical reason to be cutting them and mowing them. And it's also being done opposite of actually the way it should be. It's cutting them at the wrong time of year, which is actually increasing the strength of the plants. The mowing equipment is supposed to be carefully cleaned on site before it's removed, because the seeds of those plants, they're like zombie plants. I mean, the seeds, like the dead plants make more plants.
Yeah.
And then the cut plants are supposed to be carefully removed and then like burned. And that doesn't even get rid of them. That's just if you're going to cut them, which is not an effective way of removing them. And then in addition to that, there isn't any plan to reestablish the native species that are there. It's not all Phragmites at the DSA. There are lots of native species there. So, but every time he cuts them, he's basically making them stronger and choking out the native species that are still there. It would be the same if the Harbor Park cutting was done. It would be the same if the cutting, along Drybeck Road was done. The little parking lot across from Harbor Park, because I'm sure that you people know, was all used to be marsh years and years and years ago, right? That was all marsh. So the reason why there's Phragmites, the reason why Phragmites grow, the invasive ones, is when the land is disturbed, then they take advantage of that destruction, and that's how they take hold. So, with just years of putting dredge explosives there, I mean, they got to go somewhere. I'm not complaining about that, but residents don't like how it looks because it just looks horrible when it's just cut like that. Residents don't like the increased noise, wind, the wildlife that lives in there, and they do. I mean, they're invasive species, but they do have benefits, and they're not going to go away. It's basically impossible to remove them, to make them go away. I mean, you'd have to hire, Marshfield would have to hire environmental experts that specialize to do that in order to actually make those plants go away. But you certainly shouldn't be making them worse, and then also pushing the dead plants over the edge on the Cherry Street side basically is seeding the marsh with Phragmites where they weren't, and then cutting them at the wrong time of year and then leaving them there would be kind of like if you cut your lawn and left the grass, you're like mulching it and reseeding, like mulching and reseeding the DSA. So there doesn't seem to be any logical plan, and the residents are really upset about the whole idea of it to begin with, besides the fact that there's no logic to it. So, and with the proposed parking lot being, that gravel lot that he was proposing, he had said they would, excavate down a few feet and then put the gravel. But the Phragmite roots are like 10 feet deep. So we also didn't understand that, because that would be a lot of expense on the taxpayers to dig down a few feet, to load it up, level it, load it up with gravel, and then just have the Phragmites would be growing through it a month later. So what is the purpose of that? It seems like a huge waste of taxpayers' money. On top of the fact that they don't want it. Nobody wants it. None of the residents want it. So, long answer to your question. I don't actually remember what your question was.
No, you're totally good. You answered it, so no worries at all. Yeah, it's certainly very complicated and difficult to manage and mitigate invasive Phragmites. I know it's a huge problem around the Great Lakes in Michigan and Boston and Quincy have tried to tackle and mitigate it too.
Nobody's really been successful.
Yeah, it's really tricky and expensive, and it really requires like multiple techniques and methods over the course of several seasons. So would it be fair to say that, you folks would like to see not only what the mitigation plans are, but also the next step to restore the natural habitat, and then obviously the permitting and documentation. And those can be tough to parse through sometimes, so we could put an executive summary just to leave it off for you guys too. And would you be happy to kind of see kind of a list and documentation of what native plants may or may not still be within?
Yeah, well, okay, so good question. There's never been a plan stated that they're actually trying to reestablish native plant life at the DSA. It's used for dredge spoils and also was proposed for a parking lot and a walking trail. So there's never been any mention of trying to reestablish it as a marsh. If there were, yeah, I would definitely want to see that, and I'm sure people would love that idea, but I don't see that that's in the plan at all because they need to put the dredge spoils somewhere. If you're talking about Harbor Park and the Phragmites along the river edge there was no mention of any plan to try and, remove the Phragmites and reestablish native plants there either. There is purported eelgrass in kind of mixed in there, which is endangered, but I don't know even what it looks like, but people have told me it's there. So that was never in the plan at the Conservation Commission meetings we went to on that issue. There were several of them. It was never mentioned. It was for vista pruning. They wanted to have a better view of the water. But residents didn't want it because that view is nice and it's what we're used to, and it fits with the character of the whole area. And it's just, again, it's damaging the environment, it's wasting money, it's unnecessary, it harms wildlife, it doesn't look nice to us. And we feel it's disrespectful on many, many levels.
Understood.
So.
All right, I've given my colleagues some time. I've been hogging too much. So Jim, did you have any questions or comments?
No, there's a lot of material here, a lot of questions, and I think it's a good, let's say, roadmap for us to be able to get back to you to answer the questions you have. Pretty straightforward, and I think we've stated we're here to listen, and that we'll get back to them in writing, rather than the back and forth this evening. So we'll have a chance, because some things here I actually have to refresh my memory on as well.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of where I am.
Yeah.
Want to just hear the issues, although I have to say I have heard them for quite a while now, and I did hear them very clearly at town meeting.
Oh, good.
Yeah. So I mean, it was a great format where the residents had a chance to speak, and that's exactly what the format's for.
Yeah, I thought town meeting was really well done this time. Yeah. So I did mention it in here that people want to know why is the harbor master being put in charge of these land issues.
Yeah.
So just to get that kind of question comes up a lot. Like, why does he even have anything to do with it? So.
Understood.
Yeah.
Did you have any questions or comments, Lynn?
Just really briefly, because I'm sure we're over the 15-minute mark, although we're not pressing a button to.
Thank you.
So I appreciate you coming here as well, and I have had you on the other side of the table in years past as well. And your name?
Marlene Lavoisier.
Yes, hello.
Marlene.
Yes, and your address as well?
75
If you don't mind?
Central.
Excellent, thank you. So I am slightly familiar, although I definitely, as Jim said, need to go back and review some of these things. I don't recall that there was any appeal to the conservation permitting. Do you have any knowledge of that?
Yeah, the June 1st.
Correct.
So yes, there wasn't, because residents didn't know until after the fact, what that meeting was even about. So the time period to appeal that decision
Okay.
went past because nobody had any idea, because the agenda wasn't noted. It was listed less than 24
It wasn't
with
listed in
time-stamped on the
Mariner, or
website.
Are you
Nope.
saying there was a default in that? No.
Yeah, because you know how, I know there's a term for it, like at the beginning of every meeting where they say where it was, what's the term when they say where it was?
Public posting, maybe?
Where it was posted. Yeah, I know there's a term for it, but anyways, that was never stated at the beginning of that meeting. So, and also the timestamp on the website shows that the agenda was posted less than 24 hours ahead. Plus the title, parking lot expansion, didn't tell anybody anything. So there were residents at that meeting for other issues. There were no residents at that meeting for this issue because residents did not know that this issue was even an issue. So yeah, there was no
So we'll
appeal.
look into that with the, we're all a team here. And so my other question for you, I know that you're speaking for the residents. I understand that you have a presence on, I'm not a Facebook, but I understand that you have a presence on Facebook. So when you say you're speaking for the residents, you're speaking for yourself can you just?
Yeah, so I'm president of the
Explain.
Brant Rock Village Association.
So that's Brent,
Right.
okay.
Yeah,
okay.
and we've had, lots of, back and forth through social media, asking people what they want, what their opinions are. We have, over 350 people, I think, on that page. We've had a meeting, and we had
Can I interrupt you?
about 50 residents.
Are you saying there are 350 people that are in your Brant Rock Village Association?
Facebook page.
Oh, on your
The
Facebook page. I just want to clarify.
Yeah, on the
Okay,
Facebook
thank you.
page. Yep, and and then we had about 50 people at the meeting, and then I've had, people message questions, bring them up at the meeting. The conversations, it's been going on for like a year now, so it's pretty clear. If you don't look through Facebook, maybe you don't know, but
Well, I do, but it's just
the
like
position of
this.
the residents is very
Yeah.
clear.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, understood.
So
Yeah.
thank you for that, and I'm sure we'll be following up.
Okay.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Perfect.
Awesome. Thank you very much for
Thanks
coming in.
very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Joanne.
Yeah, quickly, just your name and address, please.
Sure, no problem. Eric Murphy, Ocean Street. So,
We only got one mic.
no, Eric Murphy, Ocean Street. So I'm in agreement with her as far as I'm in the rare position where I believe, the only resident of the Brant Rock Village Overlay District that owns a residence and a business in that district. So I'm the only one in the neighborhood who gets feedback from both the Chamber of Commerce and the local village association. I've been to numerous meetings. You guys know me. I go to as many meetings as I can. No one can make them to them all. They seem to carry them on for months and months and months, only to pull them at the last minute, where we've all been to meetings where the person that was pulled the permit didn't show up, and we sat there for 2 hours and no one came. So, with that point of view, we've never seen anybody, anybody that I've seen, I've never seen anybody that has come out, for this parking lot expansion. No one's ever spoken for it other than the harbor master, and no offense, he doesn't live in town, so he doesn't see it all the time. So we're trying to find out where this direction is coming from, where he's getting the mowing and the money and the funds, and as you know, we appreciate you guys have put us on the town ballot to get some work done in Brant Rock, which we've been trying for 20 years to get. So we're trying to figure out, where is this guidance coming from? Where is this drive? For 20 years, we've been trying to get a sidewalk, we can't get it, but for 2 years, the only issue is this parking lot, and whether I get a vote in town meeting or not, I'm still gonna do the parking lot. If I went to a town board and said, hey, I need money for something, and you guys said no, and I said, well, I'm gonna do it anyways, it would probably be an issue. So we're wondering where that's coming from. Secondly, the funding for things that go on in Brant Rock. I was recently at a ceremony with the local state senator, Commissioner Darcy. I saw you there as well. And I was speaking to him, asking him about funding for Brant Rock. And he looked me square in the eye and he said, "No one's ever asked for it." And I was stunned to where I couldn't speak. I said, "We've been asking for 20 years for sidewalks. We've been asking for 20 years for flood control. What do you mean no one's ever asked for it?" He said, "Well, they've asked for the wall on Ocean Bluff, they asked for the town pier, they asked for seawall, but no one in 20 years has come to the state. We have plenty of money. No one's ever asked us for work." So what we're looking for is to get, the funding that you've already given us, to get shovel-ready plans, as Mike Merska likes to say often, shovel-ready plans, so that when the money comes from the PPP, the Build Back Better, the billions of dollars that the state is going to get to start throwing money around, Brant Rock is ready. The Board of Selectmen are on board with it. They have the money, they have the plans, they're ready to go. And not wasting our time on a mud parking lot that no one in town wants. Clearly, everybody is speaking for Brant Rock. We want to see Brant Rock get better. But we're wondering why, why is it so focused on the town pier and not the actual business zone? Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks, Eric. Eric, I do have one question for you. You don't want
You
to.
almost got
I'm
one.
coming back in case I got to speak on Mike.
Yeah, I don't want to put you on the spot. It's a little bit out of left field, but in terms of like making sure that the voice of Brant Rock is heard in terms of town government, what would your feelings be on if the legislative body of the town, instead of being town meeting, would perhaps be a town council form of government, where perhaps each village or each precinct would have their own representative that would be part of, let's say, like a 7 or 9 member legislative body at town meeting? Do you think having a dedicated representative from Brant Rock would give it more voice and more attention?
I think it totally would. I mean, the more communication, the better. I mean, like Diane says, a lot of people communicate on Facebook. Lynn says she doesn't. A lot of people don't. A lot of people don't see it. But having someone from that general local area who knows everybody who's going to run into them and spread the word, the more people that show up to town meeting, the better off we are. The more people that represent and tell you what's going on. Sometimes you guys might not hear things. You don't hear the jetty construction at Brant Rock. Sometimes there's things that don't come up. But the actual person in that neighborhood would probably be. I'd be all for it. I think it'd be a great idea.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Eric. Do you have any questions or comments, Jim?
No. I've spoken with Eric before, I understand his thoughts and views.
Any questions or comments?
I think that I understand where you're coming from. Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it. Have a good night.
Appreciate it, guys. Yeah, so Steve, if you could just wrap us up with
Well,
a nice little
really
bow.
quick.
Appreciate it.
Steve Lynch, 50 Central Street. So, are you talking about going to a city form of government with a mayor and city councilors?
No, it would be similar to what other towns have done, where you'd still have the select board as the executive branch, but the town council would be the legislative body rather than town meeting.
So
And-
disbanding town meeting is what you want to do?
No, we're just collecting information. We're kind of doing like a little survey to see how folks feel. Whether they feel like that would be more effective representation or not. If you want to give your feedback, that would be welcome. Just trying to get a feel for how the residents feel.
So 7 precinct councilors and no town meeting, that's what you're talking about?
Yeah, that's what we're trying to see how folks feel about that.
I don't think folks would like that very much, but anyway.
Yeah.
Not that we have a lot of wins at town meeting, but.
Right.
So, and I do have just one more question for you. So I'm not an elected official of the Brant Rock Village Association.
Yeah.
I am on the board though. And, we consider our group as represent the residents. The old group represents business interests in Brant Rock as far as we're concerned, not major population of Brant Rock. And so my recommendation to our elected officers and to our board and to our membership is that if the precedent that you're setting by allowing the Chamber of Commerce to make many dollars for their association by renting taxpayers' property at the town pier for a lobster fest, would you be open to us having a fish festival down there run by the Brant Rock Village Association?
Yeah, anyone's welcome to apply for things, so we'd have to look at the logistics and other factors and things to consider, but yeah, anyone's welcome to.
So, would you happen to know how much money the Chamber of Commerce and their private association made from renting taxpayers' property to dump here?
Off the top of my head, I don't, but, I can certainly circle back with you, so, we get it correct,
Okay. Thank you.
Thanks, appreciate it. All right, thank you all very much for coming in. We probably ran double over the schedule, but we appreciate you guys coming in, collecting your feedback, and we're gonna get back to you in writing. So we appreciate you guys coming in and giving us some good feedback, so. We're gonna move on to our first action item. Yep.
Joe? Did you want to speak?
No, I have nothing.
You sure?
They've got it all.
Okay.
All right.
I just want to make sure.
Thank you very much.
You're very welcome, Chris.
I just want to say that this is the most pleasant time that I've had with any of the, town government meetings I've been to.
We're a lot of fun when you get to know us.
We can tell.
Let me fix that.
Oh, he wants to fix my pleasant experience.
We do.
And on that note, right, Joe?
I personally am very, very happy you came in. I think this is an important part of town government. It is our role and responsibility to listen to the citizens. We may come to different decisions than some citizens within the town versus other areas the town want, because we have charge of all of it. But I really do want to thank you all for coming in, because it's an important part of how our government works.
Thank you.
You're very welcome.
Thanks, everyone. All right, so our first action item is a vote to open and close the annual town meeting warrant. That one's pretty straightforward. We just announce when the warrant is open for submissions and when it closes. Did you have any questions or comments, Jim?
I do not.
Any questions or comments, Lynn? All right, so I'll make a motion to approve under Article 2-4 of the Marshfield Charter to open the warrant for the annual town meeting on Tuesday, January 3rd, 2023, due to the holiday on Monday, January 2nd, 2023. Article should be submitted to the Select Board office. The annual town meeting warrant will close on Tuesday, January 24th, 2023 at 4 p.m. The annual town meeting will be held on Monday, April 24th, 2023 at the Marshfield High School Auditorium at 7 p.m. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion been made and duly seconded. Roll call is in order. Mr. Darcy?
Aye.
Mr. Kilcoyne?
Aye.
Ms. Fiddler?
Aye.
Unanimous decision to approve action item 1.
Awesome. Next up is a discussion and vote on the annual renewal of licenses for restaurants and clubs. So what I'll do, just to save us time on the motion later, I'll just read the list of names for these restaurants. So we have, it's bifurcated, here we go. I think the first one's got a whole punch through it. Ayama Asian Bistro, Cask and Flagon, Disabled American Vets, Ember.
Mr. Chairman, if you could read it across, because there are different licenses, so there's restaurant, all alcohol, common vic, and entertainment to that one.
Yeah, perfect. All right, so we have the Ayama Asian Bistro, that is a restaurant, all alcohol license, a common vic license, and an entertainment license. The Cask and Flagon is a restaurant, all alcohol license, common vic, entertainment. Disabled American Veterans Club, all alcohol, common vic, entertainment. Ember, we have a restaurant, all alcohol, common vic, entertainment. The Fairview Inn Restaurant, we have an inn holder, all alcohol, common vic, and entertainment. Fetch Barbecue and Catering Company, we have a restaurant, one in...
Mr. Chairman, we got to read the inn holder too.
Oh, thank you. Also for the Fairview Inn and Restaurant, we have an inn holder license, which is number 4. Fetch Barbecue and Catering Company, we have the restaurant, wine and malt license, common vic license, and entertainment license. The Green Harbor Golf Club, we have a club, all alcohol license, common vic license, entertainment license. The Green Harbor Yacht Club, we have a club, all alcohol license, common vic license, entertainment license. Hadad's Ocean Cafe, we have a restaurant, all alcohol license, common vic license, entertainment license. At KKD's Burger Bar, we have a restaurant, all alcohol license, common vic license, entertainment license. Live Creative Cuisine, we have a restaurant, alcohol license, common vic, and entertainment. Mia's Restaurant, we have restaurant, alcohol, common vic, entertainment. Manny's Pizza of Marshfield, we have restaurant, wine and malt, common vic, entertainment. Marshfield Country Club, we have a club, all alcohol, common vic, and entertainment license. Marshfield Famous Pizza, we have a restaurant, wine and malt, and a common vic license. The Marshfield Lodge of Elks, we have a club, all alcohol license, common vic license, and entertainment license. The Marshfield VFW, we have a club, all alcohol license, common vic license, and entertainment license. The Marshfield Yacht Club, we have a club alcohol license, a common vic license, entertainment license. Via Ragazza of Marshfield, we have a restaurant alcohol license, common vic, entertainment. The Main Dynasty, we have a restaurant alcohol license, common vic, entertainment. 139 Kitchen and Bar is a restaurant alcohol license, common vic license, entertainment license. Volcari's Bridgeway Inn, we have an inn-holder alcohol license, common vic license, entertainment license, as well as an inn-holder license. Rafferty's Pub, we have a restaurant alcohol license, common vic license, entertainment license. At Rope Marine, we have a restaurant alcohol license, common vic license, entertainment license. At Rooster's Family Kitchen, we have a restaurant wine and malt license, common vic license, entertainment license. Sashimi Asian Cuisine, we have a restaurant alcohol license, a common vic license, entertainment license. At Station 8, we have a restaurant alcohol license, common vic license, entertainment license. The Corner Cafe, we have a restaurant wine and malt license, common vic license, entertainment license. The Field Stand, we have a restaurant alcohol license, common vic, and entertainment. At the Jetty, we have a restaurant alcohol license, a common vic license, entertainment license. The Marsh, we have a restaurant alcohol license, common vic license, entertainment license. The Roadhouse, we have a restaurant alcohol license, common vic license, entertainment license. The Venus Two Brothers, we have restaurant alcohol license, common vic, entertainment. We also have Hubbard's Cupboard, which is a package wine and malt license.
No, Mr. Chairman, that's the next.
Oh, action item 4, great. All right, so if anyone needs to fall asleep tonight, they can play that on a loop. Do you have any questions or comments, Jim?
I thought it was fascinating.
Oh, thanks.
No, I should not.
Any questions or comments, Lynn? No. All right, excellent. Thank you, everyone.
I have so much to say, actually, now.
Yeah. All right, I'll make a motion to approve the annual renewal of licenses for restaurants and clubs, as previously read into the record, subject to the forms being received, fees being paid, and the taxes being paid as well. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion made and duly seconded. Roll call is in order. Mr. Darcy?
Aye.
Mr. Kilcoyne?
Aye.
Ms. Fiddler?
Aye.
Unanimous vote to approve the annual renewal of licenses for restaurants and clubs.
Excellent. So next up, action item number 3 is the annual renewal of licenses for package stores. So that list is mercifully shorter. We have Hubbard's Cupboard for a package wine and malt license, Marshwood Blanchard's for a package all alcohol, Green Harbor General Store, a package all alcohol, Jackinson's for a package wine and malt, Marshfield Liquors for a package all alcohol, the Wrexham Package Store for a package all alcohol license, Ocean Bluff Packet, a package all alcohol license, North River Beverage, a package all alcohol license, Ricky's Market, a package wine and malt license, Yogi's Liquors, a package wine and malt license, Marshfield Hills General Store for a package wine and malt license as well as a common vic license. And then finally, Roche Brothers Supermarket for a package wine and malt license and a common vic license. Do you have any questions or comments, Jim? Any questions or comments, Lynn?
No.
All right, I'll make a motion to approve the annual renewal of licenses for package stores. As previously read into the record, subject to the forms being received, fees being paid, and a tax being paid. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion been made and duly seconded. Roll call is in order. Mr. Darcy?
Aye.
Mr. Kilcoyne?
Aye.
Ms. Fiddler?
Aye.
Unanimous vote to approve annual renewal of licenses for package stores.
All right, number 4 is just restaurants looking for an extension to serve liquor for an extra hour on New Year's Eve. Certainly an understandable request. Did you have any questions or comments, Jim?
I do not.
Any questions or comments, Lynn?
No.
All right, I'll make a motion to approve the extension for all restaurants to serve liquor for an extra hour on New Year's Eve until 1:45 a.m., contingent on the select board receiving a request in writing prior to December 31st, 2022. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion been made and duly seconded. Roll call is in order. Mr. Darcy?
Aye.
Mr. Kilcoyne?
Aye.
Ms. Fiddler?
Aye.
Unanimous vote to approve the 1 hour extension on New Year's Eve.
All right, number 5 is accepting a donation. We never say no to a donation, but anything over $50 we have to approve. So Michael is kindly donating to Town Hall 2 wreaths as well as 2 bows, and I'll just incorporate the monetary value into the motion. Do you have any questions or comments, Jim?
Just a quick one. I did go to Town Hall instead of here for the meeting until I figured out that's not where it was this evening, and the bows look great.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
yeah, it looks nice.
Thank you. Any questions or comments, Lynn?
I understand you do this a lot, every year. Is that
Yes.
correct?
Yes.
That's amazing, so thank you for that.
Thank you.
Thank you, Michael.
Anything we can do to make that place look better.
Yes. I'm sure a lot of the employees can't wait for the bathrooms to be done.
Yes, they're very
Yeah.
excited.
All right, I'll make a motion to accept a donation from the town administrator, Michael Moresco, of 2 wreaths for town hall with a monetary value of $139.98, as well as 2 bows with a monetary value of $29.99, for a total monetary donation of $169.97. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion been made and duly seconded. Roll call is in order. Mr. Darcy?
Aye.
Mr. Kilcoyne?
Aye.
Ms. Fiddler?
Aye.
Unanimous vote to accept the donation.
All right, next up is just waiving the building department fees for some of the second floor renovations at town hall, and we usually just waive that because the town's not going to charge itself, for its own fees. Do you have any questions or comments,
Do you
Jim?
know, Mr. Chairman?
Any questions or comments, Lynn?
No.
All right, I'll make a motion to waive the building department fees relative to the second floor renovations at town hall, 870 Marine Street. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion been made and duly seconded. Roll call is in order. Mr. Darcy?
Aye.
Mr. Kilcoyne?
Aye.
Ms. Fiddler?
Aye.
Unanimous vote to waive the building department fees for second floor renovation.
Excellent. And then next up is just approving the meeting minutes from our November 21st, 2022 meeting. Did you have any questions or comments, Jim?
Do you know, Mr. Chairman?
Any questions or comments, Lynn?
No.
All right, I'll make a motion to approve the meeting minutes from the November 21st, 2022 meeting. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion been made and duly seconded. Roll call is in order. Mr. Darcy?
Aye.
Mr. Kilcoyne?
Aye.
Ms. Fiddler?
Aye.
Unanimous vote to accept the minutes from November 21st.
Excellent. So seeing no further business before the board, I'll make a motion to adjourn. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion been made and duly seconded. Roll call is in order. Mr. Darcy?
Aye.
Mr. Kilcoyne?
Aye.
Ms. Fiddler?
Aye.
Unanimous vote to adjourn.